Hello and welcome, or welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Georgie from Healing Moons, and in this episode we're going to be looking at the serpent as part of the witch's anatomy and how it works in conjunction with the element of water and how we can embody that. So before we get into this week's episode, as you'll probably know, it's in conjunction with a witch's anatomy, or witch's anatomy I should say, a map to the magical body by Laura Tempest Zakroff, and I was sent this to review by Llewellyn Publishers, and if you'd like to read the review of that, you can find it in the description box below. But for this episode, or this segment, we're looking at the serpent, which represents water. And when the serpent speaks, it reveals the truth of ourselves, and it's the most primal part of ourselves. It can't be tamed and contained. It's wild, wise, fluid, and often full of surprises. And the serpent is often our best alarm system, warning us about potential dangers or things to pay attention to. And as I was reading the book, I found that because of my background in Reiki and energy healing, it felt very much like the embodiment of our solar plexus and sacral chakra, because that's where our energy and gut instinct comes from, and it's like our powerhouse. It's where our energy comes from as well. And Laura talks about it in the book as how it's, once again, where our energy comes from, and how we channel our energy when we're using it for spell work and ritual. If we are channeling our own energy into it, we can sometimes deplete ourselves because we're not necessarily looking after the body, and it all depends how we treat the body after ritual as well. It's not just about raising the energy to go into the rituals. It's also about how we replenish ourselves and how we allow the body to recharge as well. Also, although our attention and focus has to go into our craft and into the spell work or ritual, it's important to note that it's not just your energy that goes into it. If you are doing it and you are trying to force something to happen and make something happen with your own energy, that's going to deplete you even further. Whereas if you are calling in spirits and asking for help from whatever goddess or god or any entity that you're working with, I say entity to include elemental spirits and anyone else that you may call into your work, but allow them to play their part as well, because by doing so you're not using up all of your energy, and it's a more powerful, higher energy that's coming in. So you're allowing the universe as a whole to support you in your work and to bring it to fruition. And because of it being linked with the element of water, it's also very much about our emotional state and how we feel about something. So as with other manifestation work or the law of attraction, it's all to do with how you feel about it and embodying that feeling and sensation of how it would be when it comes to fruition, which is my own personal take on it. And also it's about purification and cleansing as well, because that's what the element of water brings to us. So I'm going to read from the book for you in a minute, but there are rituals in here like ritual baths that you can use as part of your work, and you can use them for cleansing and rejuvenating your energy as well. So the exercise that I'd like to read to you from the book Anatomy of a Witch is exercise to release, replenish and revive, which is on page 81. Once you have reached the climax of your working, you can do the following during the completion part of your ritual. From a standing or sitting position, perform the 3 breaths exercise, focusing on the state of your body, which we covered in the last 2 episodes. So feel free to go back and watch those if you haven't, because it will be in there before the element that we're working with in that episode. Next, cup your hands out in front of you but close to your body, like you're about to catch some water from a cascading waterfall. Visualize your cup filling with pure, cool, clean water. Raise your cupped hands just above your head, preparing to pour the water. Visualize releasing a cleansing shower down upon yourself. Slowly bring your hands apart and down in front of you, with the palms facing inwards towards you, and fingers gently apart as the arms are lowered. Complete the motion until your fingertips point down towards the ground. Repeat this movement 2 more times. You can also connect each movement with the following phrases, 1 per cycle. I release and wash away that which is not needed. I replenish that which has been absorbed. I revive and refresh myself for the work to come. And you can also perform this exercise with an actual cup of water, though you're not going to pour it all over yourself. Instead, have a clean cup with fresh, cool water available. After doing the 3 breath exercises, take a swallow for each phrase, feeling the liquid go down as you drink. What's especially nice about this version is that you actually need to hydrate anyway, so you're accomplishing 2 vital tasks at once. And as I turned the page when we finished that segment, there was something else that kind of stood out to me that I just want to read to you. When we connect with the serpent, we learn to shed our skin, and when it's time to rest and time to strike. And to me, that's pretty much that's life in a nutshell, isn't it? The way that we're constantly learning, growing and evolving, like the one thing that's constant in life is change, and everything is cyclical. So that very much to me speaks of the changes that we go through, and how no matter what our age, we have a tendency to, or we can if we choose to reinvent ourselves at any point. So whether it be starting a new hobby, or changing jobs, or even changing our hairstyle, there's so many different ways that we do shed our skin to become a better or more aligned version of ourselves with who we want to be. And so yeah, I just wanted to read that to you. And also the part to do with the time to rest and time to strike also makes me think of working with the moon phases. If you do cyclical living with the lunar phases, then that's also very much about knowing when to take action, when to rest, so that we have that balance between the two, which is also really important, because if we're constantly moving and doing things and striving forwards, we never have a chance to replenish ourselves, which is going to drain our energy as well. So knowing our bodies and when to actually stop and take that moment for ourselves, whether it be for our physical health, our mental health, emotional well-being, it all plays a part, and it all has an impact on our energy and how we're feeling in ourselves. So this also has a ripple effect out into our magical work as well, in our rituals and our practices, because if we don't have that energy because we're constantly burnt out, we're not going to have a lot to put into our work anyway, because there's not going to be anything left to channel and put into it. So it's very important to have that balance, not only for our general well-being, but also for these purposes as well. I'd also like to quickly note the other sections in this particular chapter on the serpent. So there is a section that I don't think I've mentioned before, but it actually relates the different elements to the tarot as well, the major arcana. So there's a short section on that particular tarot card that's linked with it. There's also a section on finding the serpent, the sacred serpent, serpent wisdom, cleansing and purifying, which is what contains the ritual baths. There's a mugwort rinse and rosemary fennec. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's also a section on preserving and building energy. I need to work on my enunciations, don't I? Yeah, I'm following the serpent, and also at the end of the chapter, like there is with all of them, there is a sigil that you can use for meditation and in your practices. I know that Laura is very much an advocate for designing your own sigils, but you can use this one as well that's in the back of the chapter for a meditational focus and in your work. Thank you for being here for this episode. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. And if you didn't watch to the end of the last episode and you like cute doggos, then feel free to check that out, because there was a clip of Toby and Leon having a little snooze while I was recording the last episode. But I'd also like to give a massive thank you to Llewellyn Publishers for sending this to me, and thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment or subscribe if you feel like doing so. It all helps out the channel and helps it grow. And until next time, take care. Bye.